What is up, YouTube? You are listening to the best damn racing podcast on YouTube. You are listening to Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. I am Kane Jr. 88, along with Thermite 917 and Junior Nation 5788 from Richmond International Raceway. We're going to give our race ratings, hand out some awards, and make our fantasy picks. So, gentlemen, what a weekend we had this weekend. The racing was exciting as hell, and I mean, yeah, the results weren't that great, but who fucking cares? The racing was great. So what's your take?
Kane,
well, I see you're already drinking early tonight.
Yeah,
Kane.
yeah. Somebody's had it. Have you had a couple tonight, Kane? Because it certainly sounds like it.
I'm halfway through my first.
Exactly. So I was gonna say, like, just get it out. We already know. Don't lie. But you did start with a burst of energy there, so I mean, that was kind of cool. It got me pepped up. So, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that bad. I think the weekend was solid for NASCAR. I don't believe it was terrible in any way. I don't think it was the best weekend of the year, but it's certainly a far cry from the worst. So, that's just the general basic takeaway from what we got.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good, solid short track race. Probably about the same amount of things happening as Bristol. You kind of always hope for a little more for a track like that. But I'm glad it was a day race, so it was hot and slick, and you could run wherever you wanted. I mean, that was really cool to see. There was a lot of 3 and 4 wide action, throughout the race. I know the second stage was caution-free, but other than that, there was a decent amount of things going on. Obviously, like Kane said, the result might not have been what we wanted, but for Logano to start in the back because of a transmission change and come all the way up through the field, slowly but surely, that it was a good drive by him, and it was his 300th start, so nice accomplishment.
You can feel proud for him on his 300th start. I hope he falls down a well. Anyhow. Man, let's get right into the whole gist of the race. Right from the get-go, man, I mean, it was pretty hectic start, and obviously, poor old Eric Jones, looked like he might have, it could have been a good day for him, and it went to shit real quickly, so, a little bit of contact with Casey on the opening lap. I didn't even realize that had happened, and then next thing you know, there's Eric Jones' car just absolutely destroyed in turn 3. So, I felt bad for him, not for that paint scheme, but, because paint schemes totally mean something when it comes to, the racing aspect of it.
It does. I mean, if you see a good paint scheme crash, you're like, oh, that sucks. But if it's a bad paint scheme, it's like, he'll be okay next week.
It's surprising because it was a GameStop car, and usually those are pretty damn sick.
Exactly.
Not that one.
You are totally right about that. So Eric Jones' day, ended obviously very shortly, and the entire rest of the first stage was pretty damn solid. There was a lot of racing action throughout. There was a slight little mix of strategy, after that first caution. A few guys came in and decided to pit: Brad Keselowski, Dale Jr., Kyle Larson, a few notables, and they were able to work their way through the pack pretty well. Specifically, Brad Keselowski, who drove from like 25th to second and was probably going to win the stage had it stayed green, but it didn't, and things kind of got evened out from there. Matt Kenseth completely dominated, led every single lap, and it looked like he was going to be a strong contender to win the damn race, but we obviously saw how that turned out.
Yeah, Matt led 164 laps and cut a tire late and finished 23rd, so hated for his guys, but finally, a decent race for Joe Gibbs. I know Hamlin was up there too, battling with Kevin Harvick and Keselowski for a while. Kyle Busch was up there at the end until a commitment line violation, which may or may not have been a good call, but
balls and strikes.
Another usual Kyle Busch interview.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
Yeah, good one. The whole Joe Gibbs thing. They still didn't have that great of a day, even for it being more of a stronger run, specifically for Busch, Hamlin, and Kenseth. Suarez had an absolutely abysmal day, yet comes away as the second best finisher. You know, he was down 3 laps and ended up coming back to finish 12th. But anyways, going back to the second stage, that was a pretty dull one. I was kind of like disappointed in a way at how it mellowed out. I mean, I guess you can kind of understand, you know, people, you know, it's a crazy start, and then, you know, everybody kind of settles in, saves their shit a little bit, and, you know, kind of, you know, save it for the rest, the second half of the race, the third stage, you know, and get prepared to try to win the race. You know, and that stage was not uninteresting. You know, it was green throughout the entire thing. Not a whole lot going on. You know, another thing that's, you know, real small and kind of notable. I don't know if I dislike it or what, but I would have liked to have seen a green flag stop. And you don't really see. I feel like you're not going to see as much of them anymore. Obviously, with the stage racing, because everything gets broken down. In races like this, where you have, you know, a stage that is less than a fuel run, you're not going to see people pit under green unless they have an issue. So, you know, it takes kind of an element of strategy out of it in a way. So, I guess I kind of do dislike that.
Yeah, it does take strategy away, you know, in terms of green flag pit stops, but it can add strategy too if there's a caution late in the stage or something like that. You know, and it's also a short track, so like you said, you know, a fuel run, you know, is they don't have to pit, but like at 1.5 miles, you know, it does come into play. But yeah, I mean, usually this season we've seen the second stage be the calm one, and they're just kind of saving their stuff until the end.
And that's obviously what we saw here. So, but you know, getting into the second half of the race, which would have been the start of the third stage, you know, it was kind of picked up right where stage 2 left off. It was pretty mellow for most of it, and they had a lot of green flag racing, and they actually ended up making green flag pit stops, except for when Ryan Newman, Jimmie Johnson, and Dale Jr. decided to stretch out the run, and they were going to do the entire fuel stint, whereas everybody else decided, you know, let's short pit, you know, try to split the stage in half, and that's fine. I was actually completely, you know, with the decision to stay out as long as possible, especially for those guys right there. I'd say Dale Jr. more specifically because he was not having a terrific run again, and you know, they were just throwing whatever at the damn, you know, whatever. They, you know, just try to get a better result than what they were going to get. So they were hoping for a caution. And I figured they had gone so long under green that they were going to get one. Oh, and they did. They did.
Oh,
that was because Jimmie Johnson came down and pitted a few laps before, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's just out there like driving like fucking Superman and doesn't realize that he's got a car to his outside and completely body slams. Just happens to be Junior. Body slams Junior into the wall, causes a caution, and basically sets up a crazy rest of the race from there.
And that actually worked out for Newman because he was the other car that was staying out for a while. And he came home 7th, so at least it worked out for someone.
But it's just funny because it worked for Newman. It really didn't hurt Jimmie because he kind of finished where he was running anyways, and it totally, you know, shafted Junior and got him a worse result than what he was going to get. It still wasn't going to be great, but it would have been a hell of a lot better than a 30th place. But, you know, typical luck on the 88 team, that's for damn sure. That just, you know, but that whole little skirmish set up an absolutely crazy end where, you know, next thing you know, cautions breed cautions, and, you know, there was just, you know, Junior had another tire go down, and that, you know, almost caused a big damn wreck, and just a lot happened all at once. Obviously, track position kind of got shuffled a little bit. You know, Joey Logano, the whole reason why he was even up there in the first place was just because of some strategy, and it just happened to work out in his way. You know, him and Brad Keselowski stay out. They end up, you know, kind of holding their own for a little bit, catch a rather quick caution, and then they're able to pit. And Joey Logano is just in the right place at the right time. You know, behind, I think he restarted in the 4th row on the last restart, and on the inside, and was able to bypass, you know, everybody, got by him with pretty much ease. You know, Larson wasn't going to be able to hold him off. You know, you
No.
clearly saw how new tires, you know, versus even tires with 10 laps on them, there was just a significant advantage to it. So, you know,
Yeah.
those guys really had no chance with the amount of laps they had left. And Logano was able to pull away, just scoot out, and nobody was able to get to him. I really thought Brad was going to get to him. Had they had a caution, I do believe that Logano would not have won, but that was not the case. Squinty Douche won for the first time this year.
Yeah, Brad said that you know, if he had 410, if he had 10 more laps, he would have probably caught Joey. So
I say less than
yeah,
10,
unfortunately, yeah, that's true.
Because he caught him. He was like, what, like 2.5 back for a while, and then it was within like maybe 7 or 6 tenths or something by the end. So he was about right there.
Oh yeah.
And going back to the tires being a factor, I mean, even Cole Witt restarted sixth one time, and he was back to like 27th within like a couple of laps. I know it's a crappy team, but still, I mean, even with Larson too, he's a wheel man, and he couldn't even hold off Logano for like a lap.
No.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean that's just the entirety of the race in a nutshell. You don't really need to go over the race of Xfinity, but there was just plenty of racing throughout the pack, at times, and it was mellow at other times. So it was just a
Mellow
decent
yellow.
race. Yeah, it was mellow yellow, and it was just an all around decent race. So race ratings, what do we think, Nick?
I think I'll give it a 7. Just like Bristol, it was amazing racing at times with 3 and 4 wide. The multiple grooves really made things more exciting than they would have been like at a night race, perhaps. But there were still some moments like stage 2 where I kind of wanted to fall asleep for a while. But in terms of Richmond, we've seen horrible races there in the past couple of years. So I think this was one of the better ones. So I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just go ahead and just jump in and give my rating quick. I disagree with nothing you just said there. I will not add a single word, and I'm gonna give the exact same rating. So basically, I'm just copying Nick. I'm copy pasting him, and not giving any credit.
Awesome.
Seriously, you hit the nail on the head. I was gonna reference the terrible races we have seen there, especially the absolutely abysmal one. I mentioned it before. The 2014 fall race was the worst thing I've ever seen. This race was so much better than that, and it proved that Richmond is not a complete shithole. So,
Yeah.
So Kane, what is your race rating?
I'm gonna break the trend a little bit and give it a 6.5. I mean, I did say this at Bristol. I'm gonna repeat it here. You can either have great racing and shitty results, or you can have shitty results and shitty racing and great results. You can't ever have both, it seems. But this weekend was pretty much the same as Bristol. But that's the one saving grace. The racing was amazing, and like Nick said, stage 2, I almost actually did fall asleep for like maybe a couple of seconds, but
For a couple of
yeah,
seconds.
yeah, for a couple of seconds. But it was a great. But overall, but Cup and Xfinity were both definitely worth watching this weekend. Way better than 2014. We didn't have fans climbing the fence because they were bored out of their fucking minds, so that's always a plus. So yeah, it's definitely a better weekend.
Completely agree. All right, yeah, that covers it.
All right, it's time for some awards, and I will kick it off. This has to do with the Xfinity race. It is breaking Kyle Benjamin, and hopefully you get the reference. Kyle Benjamin made his Xfinity debut. He started second, almost got spun out on lap 1, stayed in the top 10 most of the race, and then it went downhill after his car fell off the jack. He said he didn't do many green flag pit stops before, or that wasn't green flag, I don't think, but either way, he's not used to pitting, and then after that, he was in the back, and that led to getting involved in a crash, and he finished 32nd. So that was quite an eventful race for the rookie. Next
award is the boner of the week, and in our typical awarded most weeks. First off, a dishonorable mention, and that goes to whoever the hell the 01 was in the Xfinity race. Does somebody want to tell me who that was? Because I don't know.
Harrison Rhodes.
Thank you, Harrison Rhodes. So Harrison Rhodes in the 01. Okay, so late in the race, he's a lap down, far off the pace, like normal. And he decides he's going to go ahead and come in and pit with the leaders, late, and that disrupts the flow of the leaders there and could cost, and cost the people behind him a couple of tenths because they're behind, a car that shouldn't be there. And that's retarded. What the hell was that? Where you're telling me he didn't know this and his spotter didn't know this, that, hey, you don't pit with the lead lap cars. So that's a dishonorable mention and a stupid boner move. Don't let that shit happen again. But the absolute boner of the week has to go to Jimmie Johnson and his spotter, Earl Barban. I don't know what the hell was going through both of their minds. I understand Jimmy's in a race car, and he does have to rely on his spotter, so that's why it's not totally on, one or the other. It's together as a team there. He said his spotter didn't say anything about a car being to the outside, and there clearly was one. Jimmie comes completely from the bottom off of turn 2 and just drives right into poor Dale Jr., who's sitting there just trying to ride around right out the end of his fuel run, and it completely ruins his day. And it looks so stupid. So, boner of the week, by far.
All right, our next award is Tough Luck, and that goes to Eric Jones. Man, I mean, on lap 1, the very first lap of the race, he and Casey Kane get together on the back straightaway, and Kane makes contact with Jones's left front tire, and after about 4 laps, it was on lap 5, that left front tire on the 77 blew out. Jones hit the wall pretty good, actually. Fortunately, he is okay because that was a hard hit, but that 77 car was toast, and it pretty much became prey, just as the paint scheme promoted. And I mean, oh my God, I just don't know what to say, man. That's the shittiest luck. I thought what happened to him last week at Bristol when he was having such a great race, and then that stupid shit happened with him and Allmendinger was bad, but this is worse. I mean, and it's his first career last place finish, and to have it this early in his career, it freaking sucks, especially for a kid with that much talent. I don't know what to say.
Ken, you want to talk about his birthday or anything else too? I mean, I don't know when it is, but you could cover it. Big Eric Jones fan, you. He got the point. Next award.
Next award is Circle Kaboom, and now we know what he stands for and his sponsor. It goes to Matt Kenseth. And, man, he dominated. Gibbs is having a good day. He led 164 laps. And then he has a tire go down. I don't even remember who hit him, but, it didn't work out for him. And, yeah, there's not much else to say about that. He finished 23rd. And the next award, Tyler, take it away.
Thank you, Nick, for that lovely introduction to the next award. It's very sweet of you.
You're very welcome.
Yes. And it is Slick Rick Part 2. For the second week in a row, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is Mr. Slick Rick. He started well. He started 4th and was running, in the top 5 for the majority of it, and then made a self-error, which he completely admitted to. So Slick Rick, they got that car all fixed up. It looked like a really hard hit for what it was, but, they got him fixed up, and he just kind of pedaled around, like the 12th to 18th range for the majority of the damn race. And before I get into, the good part of it, DW and those guys in the booth, I swear to God, mentioned it like 3 times. Oh yeah, Rick, look at Ricky Stenhouse. He was doing better than he was before. No, he wasn't. He was running in the fucking top 5, and then now he's running, 15th. Like, come on, guys, pay the fuck attention a little bit more, please. Anyhow, then he, the late race chaos kind of vaulted him back through the field, and he ended up finishing 4th. So. Really, really good result for what could have been an absolutely either mediocre or just disappointing or whatever you want to call it day. So, Slick Rick. Next award.
All right, next award is, as always, the Cigar Award, and we have two of those this week. The first one goes to Elliott Sadler, who took fresh tires when no one else did. He went from just inside the top 20, he was where he restarted, all the way up to second before a late race caution completely ruined the plan. But he was still able to come away with a 7th place finish, and that's a great call on both him and crew chief Kevin Mendering. Obviously, it worked out great. And the best part of all, kids eat free at Golden Corral. So, Cigar Award to Elliott Sadler.
All right, and the second part of the Cigar Award goes to Danny Suarez. If you didn't know, that's short for Daniel. He was... I just got to be clear on that. He was 3 laps down at one point. I mean, just sucking ass. And I mean, even Danica was higher than him for a while. Like the announcers, thought they were both racing for the lucky dog, but no, Danica was like a lap or two ahead of him. But Suarez, in his normal fashion this year, for some reason, he came back and finished 12th. So, good job for him. I know he's a rookie. He's learning. He always seems to be the guy that has a slow start and a good finish, and this is another example. So, we got something interesting for the next award.
Well, yes, we have a crying towel to give out. And, we could be dicks and give it to Kyle Busch again. And I you know what? I wouldn't feel bad about it if we did. But that's not the case. This week, we're giving it to one of our own. Mr. Kane Jr. 88 gets the crying towel. Now, just to briefly explain this, we have a group chat, the three of us and Damani HT NASCAR, rest in peace. He's in, we all have a Facebook Messenger chat, so granted we exchange plenty of messages on there. And during the race, Mr. Kane Jr. 88 had quite a few choice things to say. He's a very superstitious man, and we give him a lot of shit about that all the time. And he went on quite a bit of a rant. Oh, Kane. I know it's tough that Junior isn't running good. Okay? He's had a lot of bad luck. I'm a Junior fan, too. But Jesus Christ, man. What the hell is it going to take for you to sit back and shut your big yapper? Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Please, do it. Don't do it for us. Don't do it for your brother. Don't do it for your parents. Do it for you, man. Jesus. I understand it's really frustrating, and you got all these things that comes to your mind, and you get all excited like JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy or the Pretty New Pet. But you just you gotta calm down, man. Junior will get it back together. The 88 team will get it back together. They got a massive fucking monkey taking large shits on each of their shoulders. But they'll get rid of it. I promise you. And if they don't fucking blame it on, what color, the lady in the stand is wearing, and whatever the hell, whatever seat you're sitting in the fucking house, or which ass cheek touches the floor first. Just take it as it goes, watch the damn race, and react from there. Please. Please, do it for us. But I kind of contradicted myself. Don't do it for us. But you should still do it for us, because it's fucking annoying. Stop! Crying towel. Crying towel. Wipe up your tears. And your frustration, and your beer, because you probably spilled that too. I don't know how that came out.
There is several people I'd like to blame for this, but I'm not going to mention them on air because
yeah, you better not.
That's something else that they're sick of hearing as well.
So you see, as good as friends as we can be, we're still going to give each other a hard time and call each other out if there's something we feel we should, Mr. Kane. The moral of the story was, this is to help you, making you a better you.
Yeah, If only Junior's performance would pick up.
James,
This is what we're talking about.
Do we have to start the crying towel all over again? Because I fucking do it.
What? It's not my fault Junior sucks right now.
I think it is. You know, if you're superstitious, you know, it is your fault.
It is. You want to blame it on
So,
everything.
if you just, you know, shut up, maybe he'll do good.
Like, you know, you'll be like, oh my god, I washed my shirt one day when it had a stain on it with Tide, and he finished 43rd at Michigan, and now we're at Michigan again. Oh my god. That's you. That's you.
That's
I know, I'm
not
thinking
your
about-
scheme.
Yeah. Yeah, the pain scheme.
Well, unfortunately, that's been replaced with a nationwide scheme. If you're like me.
It is. We're not like you. That's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get you out of that funk. Like I said, you know.
We're here to help.
We are here to help, and we're gonna laugh at your pain, even if I'm in pain too. So, I mean, I am in pain. Like I said, I share the exact same thoughts to a degree, but I don't take it as far as you do. Holy shit! Again, making you a better you. We need to move on.
All right, so this would normally be, you know, the paint scheme segment where we show off, you know, the slideshow and everything and talk about the worst one. But, you know, there was really, you know, nothing new and exciting this week. And there was nothing too horrible or ridiculous except for Kane's Uncharted record. But I do want to...
And just for that, I'm not playing tonight.
Well, we don't want you to.
Yeah, we don't want you to anyway. You need to sit and think about your thoughts. And, you know, keep wiping your face with a crying towel. Because we gave it to you for a reason, pal.
Yeah.
Now shut up!
Shut up! But this week, Darrell Wallace Jr. Ran a mellow yellow paint scheme at Richmond. And, you know, it looked really good, I think. It was mostly yellow and black. You know, and it looked nice and, you know, fast and, you know, like a good, you know, racing paint scheme and everything. It's got the new mellow yellow logo and everything. But the announcers, and I think even Bubba, you know, are like, oh, look at this throwback paint scheme we have this week. You know, it's like a tribute to Kyle Petty or Cole Trickle or something. No, it's not. You got a new sponsor. It happens to be mellow yellow. You have a totally different paint scheme. It doesn't have, you know, the same number style. It doesn't have, you know, the old logo. It doesn't even have green. Okay, you know, Kyle Larson had a good throwback scheme at Darlington a year or two ago. That one looks good. That's a nice, you know, accurate tribute. But, you know, and same thing with Cole Trickles. But this one is a great paint scheme. It's not a tribute, so shut up, Adam Alexander, and whoever, you know, mentioned it. You know, if you knew anything about design, and, you know, even if it is like a tribute to Kyle Petty, you know, you don't have to rub it in everyone's face. It's not the same thing. Just let it go. And Bubba finished 6th again.
The number of the Bubba. I think you pretty much covered it all. That was the Bubba segment by Nick. So yeah, we're good there.
I got nothing else.
Yeah, you got it all out. I got nothing else to add about that. I didn't, other than I actually didn't like the car as much. You might obviously like it more, and that's okay. And and I hate that bald fuck Adam Alexander. Anyhow.
I mean, it wasn't an amazing paint scheme, but, you know, it was okay. But it's just not as, like, good as everyone was saying. I mean,
Yeah, we don't like overrating things. All right, fantasy recap for Richmond. This week I chose Denny Hamlin, and I come away with a victory, getting 47 points. Damani comes home in second place with 38 points after picking Kyle Larson. Kane picked Martin Truex Jr. and garners 35 points, and Thermite comes in last for picking Jimmie Slam Your Shit Johnson and gets 26 points. Now, the overall points, let's just do a quick update. I'm currently leading with 302 points. Kane is 73 points behind with 229 points. Thermite in third with 181 points. And Damani, newly joining, you know, the fantasy game, is down in last with 71 points. So, you know, but if Thermite keeps sucking ass, Damani will catch him quickly. So, moving on to Talladega. And who are we picking? Obviously, Thermite, since you finished last, you will get the first pick. So who are you taking?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about being superstitious and cursing people, how about me in fantasy?
Yeah,
But
you suck.
yeah, I do suck, and Damani probably will catch me at some point. But for Talladega, it's such a wild card. But there's always, a couple drivers here and there who are always strong no matter what. So I'm going to go with one of those. And Brad Keselowski, I think he'll get it done. And shut up. And I hope he does because I need some points here. So I think Kane is next.
Kane, you are next. What are you taking?
So I'm going to go with somebody else who's really good on plate tracks, and that's Denny Hamlin. Obviously, he had a strong car during speed weeks up until the 500. But yeah, he's a former winner at Talladega, and he's usually always a threat to win there, so I'm going to go with him.
Alrighty, I will make the pick for Damani and myself. Damani finished second, so he gets the next one. And he is taking Joey Logano, and that is a very solitary pick considering his recent record there, even including his bullshit win in 2015. Anyhow, I think I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. I'm going to take a swing at the fences here. I still believe the Hendrick program has absolutely got it going on at the play tracks. Obviously they're incredibly quick in a straight line, and I would not be surprised to see one of them take the pole, specifically Chase Elliott. I think he could. And he's been a lot better. He significantly has improved since his first couple of plate races. So I think he can challenge for the win, and I think he wants to get a little bit of redemption for Daytona. So that's the way I see it happening. And Chase Elliott finally nabs the first win, but we'll see what happens. That is your fantasy picks for Talladega. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. And we hope you had a good time listening. We're going to move on to Talladega. Talladega is going to be insane, hopefully. Hopefully we see some good racing. And, not some bullshit finishes either, because we know how NASCAR likes to screw them up. And, dishonorable mention briefly for the Xfinity finish, which was kind of stupid. Didn't mention that during the race rundown, so yeah, that was terrible. But anyhow,
yeah, stupid overtime line.
Yeah, stupid damn overtime line. That shit needs to go. But we're not going to get into it.
Just let the leader take the white flag and let that decide it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why it's that difficult, but NASCAR's stupid. They're gonna have to figure it out on their own, and take their thumbs out of their ass and make some changes, which they love to do. They love to make changes. Anyhow,
yeah,
this is the outro, man. This isn't another topic. So, for Kane Jr. 88, Mr. Crying. For Thermite 917. For me, Middleburg 1, Junior Nation 5788, Probo 43, all my stupid ass handles. This has been Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. You've been Behind the Wall, and thank you for listening. What the hell am I listening to?
Ginger.
That's how I felt after the race today, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I hate that skinny son of a bitch. Oh my god.
Yeah. I think I know why he won.
Because he fucking lucked into it again?
No, because of fucking Brian France, that's why.
How?
He had his 6-year-old son with him today when he had his press conference, and
What does that have to do with anything?
his son is a Logano fan.
Oh.
And he's like, Logano's gonna win today, or whatever, I don't know, it's like...
Yeah, Nick, do you want me to hold him down, or do you want me to do it? Cause,
What do you mean hold me down? Hold on, I need an
to,
explanation here.
Put you to sleep, because what the fuck are you talking about? Quit being so goddamn superstitious. That's over the top, man.
So, what do you want me to do on race day, then?
I want you
Watch
to
the frickin' race and shut up.
I can't say anything different than what Nick just said right there. So, holy shit. You know,
Plus-
Eric Jones' day ended
plus
pretty
it's-
quick. Shut up,
Yeah.
Kim.
Plus, damn it.
Already.
Already an edit. Anyways. Next
All right,
award.
next.
Internet Boner of the Week.
Yeah.
Then what the fuck are you doing talking during my segment, Alex? Do I have to take you out back and fucking, and put, what the hell, jumper cables? Yeah, put jumper cables on your nipples. Are you that drunk? Maybe that'll give you a little shock, kind of like those dog collars. They get a little zap when they get a little too far out of hand.
Leave it for the crying time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna waterboard me.
No, I'm not gonna fucking waterboard you.
No, I thought you were Trevor Phillips.
No. But I think he had something to do with jumper cables too. God damn it now. Point is,
Where are
you're
we
getting
going
it.
with this?
I don't know where we're going with this because, Kane interrupted me. My entire flow was disrupted. I'm disappointed. I mean, God damn it, Kane. I'm putting the tampon in your mouth. You disrupted my flow. All right.